Hey, Joe here talking about the Studio Live Series 3. You may have seen me use the solo buttons on the mixer. Like right now, you can see my DAW mix is soloed, and sometimes this fourth channel, which is my tape input, is soloed. But this third channel is never soloed for these videos. Well, almost never. Now, why is that? It's because I'm doing something unique, but it kind of shows you how these solo buttons work, and I want to show you how they work really quickly. So really quick. What I'm doing right now, if I were to hit playback in Studio One and play something, I would be able to hear it. However, if I have my microphone on and I want you to hear the playback and my microphone, and I have my speakers on, something's going to feed back. So the way I have to do it, I'm listening to everything, coming out of these speakers is everything with the solo button engaged. But that doesn't affect the entire mix. What you hear is just the mix on the board. What I hear is just the things that are soloed. So I kind of take it backwards. I solo everything except for this microphone. Now I'm hearing everything coming out of the speakers, like the playback from my DAW, but you're hearing that plus my microphone because it's what the main mix is. Does that make sense? It's a great way to use it. Now, how is that practical in a studio sense? Maybe you're not doing videos like me and it doesn't matter. For the studio, it's really cool because you could have somebody in the other room singing a vocal. And you can quickly just hit solo on their vocal track and you can listen to their vocal without hearing anything else. Now, they're still going to hear everything exactly as they're hearing it because it's not going to mess them up. But there's one important thing you have to do to make that work and not mess them up. We're used to solo working the way it does in a DAW, where if you hit solo on one track, it mutes everything else. That's called solo in place. Now, if you come over here on the Studio Live where it says solo and you hit edit, it'll bring up this window and it kind of gives you some options for how solo will work. Look what happens when I use solo in place. It's a different function, so when I press solo on my voice, for example, boink, it now mutes everything else. That's the way we're used to solo working. It's not terribly helpful on a mixer like this. And I actually just turned off my speakers so I didn't get feedback. Now, if I turn off solo in place, and I've got set to control room mode, which I'm not entirely sure what that does, but it works okay for me. Now, if I solo the DAW, you can still hear my voice. It's like you're the singer. You still hear everything coming through, but now I can just listen to the DAW playback and not listen to you. Or I can listen to any number of channels and not have to hear this coming out of my speakers. It's just a super helpful function. Solo is like a global routing without having to go and reroute things. If I just want to hear something briefly, I can hit it and I'm great. And then when I'm done, I can turn solo off, or I can hit the clear button over here on the right-hand side of the mixer, and it will clear all solos, so I'm back to just hearing the mix on the board, and it'll flip back and forth by itself without me having to do anything else. Super cool functionality. You got to figure out how you're going to use solos. Maybe you won't use them at all. Maybe you'll use them heavily like I do. Either way, spend some time figuring out how they work, and I think it'll pay off for you.